know I got the receipts, girl. You know I got the receipts. To the Sweet Pea Diaries. It's your girl, Sweet Pea. I'm sorry, guys. I'm in a bad we're having bad weather, so the stream, and plus, guys, I'm driving, so sometimes, the stream goes out, but we should be good now. Hey, Evelyn. Hey, Sun Goddess. Yeah. So if you didn't hear me, Wes Emerson, it's Nikki, not Nikki. Hey, guys, all the sweeties and the sweetums, welcome to the channel. Yeah, let's just jump into it, guys. Now, happy Thursday. We are almost done with Will's documentary. I'm definitely going to have this uploaded by the weekend. I thank you guys for all of the love you showing on the Jada Pinkett Smith video. But this Will Smith video is going to be even more impact. I mean, woo, we're going to make an impact with this one. It's going to be more impactful. It's going to be, the edits are insane, so you guys are going to love it. Now, the Smith children, we have a documentary, a little short one on them. I did one on them, surviving the Illuminati. Willow and Jaden, I did them months ago, and this was before the channel was popping like that. People weren't really finding my documentaries, so y'all go on ahead and scroll down. In order to find that video, you have to click on videos, which is on the top of the home screen. You click on videos. That will give you all of a person's videos on their channel. You got to keep scrolling because we have 412, I think 417 videos on our channel. So you got to scroll down all the way to the beginning. If you look on the playlist, though, if you click on the playlist documentaries, that will take you right to all of the Illuminati videos we have. We have one on Clive Davis. I plug that playlist on my videos, my documentary videos, so that will always be there. So when I do the Will Smith one, those will be linked on that video. So hopefully when you watch that, you can go right on and finish watching the other ones. But if you need to watch it now, Click on the playlist documentaries and you can go and see, because we did one breaking down the agenda of the Smith kids, um, and what Hollywood actually, what the design is for some of these Hollywood children. But particularly Willow and Jaden, from the beginning, from the moment they were born, their parents had in mind that they were going to be stars. You can clearly see that they were, put in front of the cameras instantly. They have home footage of showing them, teaching them, monologues, teaching them how to, do acting scenes, teaching them how to have expressions, what it's like to be sad, what it's like to be act funny, all these types of things. So they were pretty much gearing them up from the moment that they could talk. Um, but and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, a lot of times parents, look at King Richard, the movie King Richard, look at Venus and Serena's father. He clearly had a plan. He wrote out a plan, before they were even born, about who they were going to be. He told Venus in that movie that, hey, you're good. He told Serena, your sister is going to be great. Yeah, she's the greatest, but a great player, but you're going to be the best there was. You're going to be the best of all time. And look at that. That's exactly how that thing went, because he planned it out. Anything that you plan out anyway, and you stick to that and you don't sway from that, it's going to work. I mean, because you have a goal and you have that mission in mind. And he geared everything towards that, trained them, you know, put that everything was tennis. The entire family supported their mission. So that's what it's like with Will and Jada for their children. They set them up to be Hollywood stars, whether it was going to be music, acting, whatever. Because it's clear with Willow, with the Whip My Hair, she did not want to, when I did the research on them, and I'm going to like do detailed, maybe I'll do a separate one on Willow, a separate one on Jaden, because I'm going to break this family down. I'm going to break this family apart. Hey, Punky, I'm going to really shed some light into what's going on, the dynamic with this family, because Willow did not want to be, she didn't want to be any of this. She didn't want to be a musician. She didn't want, she was cutting herself and everything. Her anxiety was on 10 because she was, being put in positions where she didn't really get to be a kid. She was just being overworked. Her mom really wanted that for her, and she didn't want to, and it's definitely, she didn't want to do that genre of music, because the Whip My Hair was very much pop. She had songs with Nicki Minaj that did not do any good. And now Willow is an artist in her own right, but she's like a punk type, rock type artist. What do you call that? Alternative music or whatever it is. That's the type of music that she does. So clearly she likes, being an artist, but she wanted to develop at her own pace and develop her own style. Now, a lot of people had used to make the, um, you know, point out that, hey, it seems like Willow is exuding the male energy and Jaden exudes the female energy. Well, the mission and the mission is complete because it was completed. Um, the mission and the assignment of the Smith kids was actually to promote the gender neutral theory, that whole gender neutral theme, the whole gender neutral thing that we now see with the queer, the queer community, where they don't identify with a gender. And I'm not saying that that is anything wrong with that. To each his own. We don't, I definitely don't have anything against any community. I always say my daughter is transgender, so I don't have anything against the LGBTQ community. I just know that we living in a real world. We living in a real society, and um, if you can, if you have an agenda, like we don't know. Like, okay, so people say Hollywood, you know, their agenda is this, their agenda is that. We don't know what the agenda is because we're not on the inside. All we can do when we do that and we start throwing out guesses and we talk about, those type of subjects, all we're doing is assuming and, just conversating and making, conversations and throwing around ideas about what we think it could be. Well, I really do believe that they are pushing the gender neutral, and, because you see that Jaden did the whole promotional thing for that designer where he was wearing a skirt, but he has also have invented a clothing line where he's the model for it, and it's a gender neutral line. All right. His waters, just water, all of the colors of the bottles are actually the colors of the LGBTQ community. So his whole, assignment has been to push the gender neutral conversation, should I call it. I'm not going to use the word agenda, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't believe that there's some secret plot. Because, okay, let's talk about if there was to be a secret plot. If there was, and it's, it's what you believe and what you don't believe. So you have to be respectful of, that. But you have to, what you believe and what you don't believe, but you still be respectful. What would be the plot? What would be the assignment? So the only thing I could think of, if Hollywood was going to be having some type of agenda, and the world actually was going to have some type of agenda, why would they push it through Hollywood? Why would they push it through movies? Because that's what they've been doing. Like the conspiracies that they have about walking on the moon, that we never really went to the moon, that they was just trying to race against the Soviets and the Russians and these people. They was trying to race against them to get the first man to the moon. And then once the Soviets had declared that they had done it, Kennedy was under to, you know, look strong and make America look like we weren't behind and we're still the superpower leader, they're to become superpower and take over. So they had to put somebody on the moon. Well, what was the best way to do that? And what were they doing back then? Motion pictures, Hollywood pictures. So they said they went in the studio and they created that. And that it was a whole propaganda. And they've been using, back when, times, they've been using the big screen to promote war and promote, and have propaganda. So people, it would lessen the fears. They would make it look exciting and thrilling, and you're safe, we're all safe because you're seeing it in the movies, so obviously it's not dangerous and we're not in any harm's way. They're playing it in the big screen, look at it, propaganda. They've been doing that. So that's what Hollywood's assignment would be, to you know um, put through messages that they want the world to accept, and they want the world to take into their everyday life and not be afraid of it, just get used to these ideas, because they keep showing it in films and showing it in situations in movies every time you watch a movie. So you're slowly programmed through watching these movies and watching these films to accept certain ideas, so that way when they do come to the forefront, you're all right with it because you've seen it in movies, right? So that's what the purpose is, for what Hollywood would be used for, if there is an agenda by the one world order, you know what I mean? And the new world order and the superpowers that be, the people controlling everything and pulling all the strings. That's what they would use Hollywood for. Okay. So, that's what their roles have always been. If you notice, um, they are always, when you see them, their look is very much the gender neutral look. It doesn't look feminine or masculine. So Evelyn says, "Hey, S. Collins, I don't understand the non-gender subject. I'm so confused, but I don't get into it because it's apparently a sensitive subject for those you ask." So the gender neutral, and it is a sensitive subject, but the only way that people are going to learn and know about anything is if they ask and if they're allowed to ask, it's all how you ask, and then it's all how you receive. When you're told the information, how do you receive and respond to the information? So it's all about respect at the end of the day. But the gender neutral, so what gender neutral is where you do not identify with a gender. You don't identify with female or male gender. You basically um feel like you're they, them, those pronouns, where you're just an entity, and you're just a human being. There's no label attached to it. You can feel both energies. You can feel the masculine energy, you can feel the female energy. You have all those energies intertwined. So that's where they gender neutral, what that means. And usually when they have the gender neutral, gender fluid, where you're gender fluid, where you're mixing female and male energies together. You can be that anytime. At one time you might feel masculine, so you're coming across masculine. At one moment you might feel feminine, so you're coming across feminine. But it's a gender fluid, gender neutral idea. And the clothing attached to that, you'll see women, that might be looking more masculine wearing male clothing, and you'll see men that might be looking more female, wearing female clothing. um and that's what will Willow and Jaden, that's what they represent, because they have a clothing company that is a gender neutral clothing company. So that's what their assignment has been. And that's, whether you look at it in a good way or a bad way. I mean, I don't look at it in any kind of way. I look at it as that's just what it is. I'm one of those type of people where I don't assign situations to things. It is what it is, right? That's just how I go down. It is what it is. However you get down is what you do. I don't label people, and I don't pass judgment on nobody, because who am I to do that? So yeah. Right, Monique. Thank you guys. Thanks. Appreciate that. Right, clothing is clothing. And so that's what the gender neutral, gender fluid and all that, that's what it is. It's like whatever you want to throw on, whatever your energy, how you feeling in that day. But I do know that that's what the Smith kids have been um, the mascots for, the spokespeople for. Um, and like I said, it's clear that they have been um, put for in front of the world for that type of assignment. Thank you so much. Um, and like I said, it's nothing wrong with it. I'm not. Oh, they're going to hell. Like, I'm not. I got enough. I don't even believe in a lot of some of these so-called things. I'm just like, who am I to judge and tell somebody where they going? Child, I'm trying to keep myself from going wherever. So I ain't got time to be judging nobody. I feel like whatever you do in life, if it makes you a productive human being, I am all for it. Okay? If it does not cause you to kill, murder, maim, harm, I am all for it. You know what I'm saying? If your mental is good, your your emotions are in check, hey, I am all for it. At the end of the day, that's what we are all here to do. Be productive members of society, right? So it's how you get there is on you. We all have our own paths and our own roads to take. But I do know that Hollywood, there are a lot of secrets, there are a lot of whispers that Willow and Jaden are clones. And so is Will, so is Jada. They're all clones. And my whole thing is, This is, if we take apart this subject now, this is, let's talk about this. Now, okay, please, if you're catching a replay or if you're in here live, please don't get offended, because this is just a conversation. This doesn't mean that I believe in it. This is a conversation. We all talk about it, y'all. Stop acting like y'all don't talk about this stuff. We all sit back and kiki and talk about, oh my God, Hollywood, Illuminati, they doing all this stuff. So this is what we just talking, right? We just shooting the breeze. Well, honey, they said that these people are clones, and you know everybody in Hollywood is a clone. Well, my whole thing is, what would they be if we just think about this logically? If they are clones, what would be the point of cloning them and then living their life in the public eye, right? And living their life in front of everybody, them as celebrities and everything. What would be the purpose of being a clone? What would be the purpose of that? And having them cloned, I need to know, well, what would be the purpose of it, right? Because I would think that if it was to be any type of replacing or anything weird going on, it would be, they would be inhabited, like they would be doing rituals to where as though they have entities and demons taking over their body, and being able to, because a demon and a evil spirit or whatever you pray to, and these entities that are being prayed to, they need a body, they need a host in order. That's what they would be looking for. All right. Right, Monique, where are the originals? I mean, where are those people? So I wouldn't think that they're clones. I would think if anything is going down, that they would be I would think that they would be taken over their bodies, and they would be used as a host. That's what I would be thinking would be going on. Evelyn says, then they stage their clone's death and they can live a normal life, maybe. I don't know. But what would be the purpose of the clone when really it's all about deities and entities that they pray to, right? So when they get and they connect with these spirits essentially want to live. They want to live on earth forever. So the goal of these Egyptian goddesses and all these, they believe in reincarnation. They believe that they're going to come back, right? So a lot of times, if those spirits are still roaming the earth, they can get they want to be deities that would want to be rich, famous. So they're gonna come to these celebrities and all that because they live in a rich and famous life. They ain't gonna come to one of us. We ain't got nothing. They can't. You think of Cleopatra and Nefertiti, all these people, honey. They was rich in their time, so they're used to being treated like kings and queens. They not gonna want to come on here and live in some goddamn Philadelphia, honey. they not going. They not gonna want to come to one of us. So they, quite naturally, and ain't none of us doing none of these powerful spells. We ain't got access to all this stuff to be doing all these powerful spells that these Hollywood people doing and messing with and intertwining with. So, honey, they gonna go to them like a Beyonce. They're the queen of the time. They're gonna go to whoever is the queen of the time. Like in our times, and where we're the way we live, Beyonce would be equal to a queen, the level of the money she has, the fame, the prestige, the power. So that's the kind of person that one of those deities they would come to and ask, can I inhabit your body? You know, I promise you riches, fame, glory, everything like that. Just let me live through you. And then you'll start to see, you wonder why, oh my God, I wonder why all of a sudden Beyonce so, consumed with these visuals of Egypt and all of this stuff that she's a child. You don't know what kind of spirits and demons they done invoked. Okay, you don't know what they done put and what they done did and who they done said can inhabit them and can live through them, honey. Because I have heard so many different theories, so many different takes on this, and there are a couple of them that I can actually entertain. I can entertain the conversation that maybe there is some type of invoking going on. The cloning thing, not so much. The invoking of spirits, yes, I definitely could see something like that. Out of my tax bracket. Okay. They don't want none of us, honey. They want the rich people, child. um so that's what the Smith children, if anything, that, oh shit. What the fuck? Now that I thought was some type of god darn sand dune, and here it is. Jesus, I hope that didn't bust the darn tire. Oh Lord, it'll be out here changing a flat tire. Ugh. Now my tire's supposed to be Ford tough, so I hope that didn't. Oh Lord, have mercy. Well, at least let me get where I gotta go. Let me come out and the tire be flat, and then I could, I could deal with that at the end of the day. I can't deal with that on the way to work. Let's just make it to where we gotta make it to, and I'll deal with a flat tire when I come out the building. Okay. Um, but yes, that's the only thing that I could see going down. But like I said, the Smith kids, what's the agenda for them? It would be, if anything, it would be the gender neutral, the gender fluid conversation. I would, it just appears that way. From the time they were young, it was like Willow, she looked like Jaden. Her hair always was just, you know, never really like done in a girl style. It was just there. She looked like Jaden. Jaden looked like her. Jaden's hair was just out. They looked alike. You really, you knew that one was a boy and one was a girl, but it just looked like the goal of, children don't, you know, um, can't express those emotions at that age. They could be feeling like that, you know, um, they could be feeling that from a young age, because anything that, like the LGBTQ conversation, they feel these things from birth, from childhood, because my kid did, right? Identified as, with the female energy when she was very young. So this does happen, when they're young, right? Um, Child, it wasn't a pothole. Didn't you hear it? It wasn't a pothole. It was like this sand dune type thing. It looked like a sand dune, but it must have been something. That sand was hard, child. I don't know what I said. I thought I didn't really go over it as much as I could. I went around it a little bit, but I didn't like ride directly over it. So hopefully I didn't damage anything. But honey, I don't know what that was doing in the darn on the highway. It was on the highway. um, but yeah, uh, they identify with that and how they feel, and those energies are present when they're younger. So it just seemed like, they were, geared towards the gender neutral, gender fluid conversation from the start. I don't know if they were feeling that themselves, and so the parents just went along with it because that's what they told them. Or was this Will and Jada's assignment? Did the powers that be in Hollywood said, this is what your kids are going to do? You either accept it as a part of being a part of the Hollywood culture. This is your assignment. I mean, do we think that the powers that be in Hollywood come to the Hollywood parents and say, okay, your kid is going to be used for this. We want your kid to be the spokesperson for this. We want to push these ideas on the youth. So we want to use your kid to do it. And you have to agree to it because you are somehow indebted to Hollywood, and your handlers and the people around you know secrets about you. So they're going to blackmail you and tell all your secrets if they don't get to use your kids for these agendas. I mean, these are just the conspiracy theories. These are just some of the theories. I'm not saying that I agree or disagree. I'm just saying these are some of the conversations. But I definitely do agree with Willow and Jaden. I do believe that they were groomed for their cause at a very young age. It's apparent. I mean, we've all said it. We've all thought it, said it. It like, wow, they both look alike. You can't tell which one is which. And was that purposely done? Was that something that was purposely instilled in them at a young age, and so they can be used for a time such as this? Who knows? We'll never know, because no one will never come out and tell the truth unless they ready to do a tell-all book, and then they tell. Do you think there could be a strange sexual energy around them? Well, Willow says she polyamorous as well. Yeah, I know. Remember, first she said, She was one thing, then she said she was polyamorous. I thought she said she was bi first, then she was polyamorous. But Willow has some, she just changes, and that's normal. When you're a young adult, you go through changes. So we can't say that, oh, she's confused. That girl don't know what she, no, that's what she's supposed to be doing at this time. She's finding herself. That's what any child would do. But because she's in the public light, and these kids are just different nowadays. These kids that we raising, honey, these millennials, these millennial kids, they different. They different. And then the little ones coming up, they even more different. Child, they different. They are so accepting, welcoming. Their minds are open, more free to things and ideas. So is that a bad thing? No, the world is evolving. You better get with the times, get with the program. I mean, hey, if it makes you a better citizen, community member, do what you do. You know what I'm saying? Who am I to tell you to stick to these values and stick to these core morals? I ain't got nothing to do with that. Oh, I'm responsible for mine. Okay. So hey Saki. Um, so as far as the weird energy around them, I don't I wouldn't say that there's a weird energy, sexual energy around them. I would just say that it would feel that way because the energy is neither female nor masculine. It's a neutral thing. So it's a whatever goes type of thing. It's whatever I'm feeling, whatever I'm with, that's just what I'm doing. So that would seem weird to someone that doesn't understand the idea of that. So then that's how probably it could come across as weird to a society that believes in one way and only knows the one way missionary, the quote unquote standard, the normal standard of things. But because it's a new idea being introduced, these ideas are actually old. They've been around since the beginning of time. They're just now more open and being exposed. We're just being introduced to them, but these things been around. I mean, look at some of these older kings and queens, some of their stories, if you go down and read some of the stories in history, I mean, look at King Herod, look at the way he said he ran his court, where, people were just freely engaging in stuff, and he was crossing over to different energies, should I say, female and masculine alike. So this has been around. We just didn't talk about it, and now it is more acceptable, and we have a space that has been created for you're able to talk about it and you're able to be free with it. I mean, now it's still, people are still attacking people for it and still killing people over it, because I worry about my kid every day when she steps out. That is this going to be the day, somebody going to hurt her. She's been hurt, she's been in situations, and I've had to get her out of some really terrible things that have happened to her because of her being transgender. One day we'll share her story, but people get hurt over that stuff to the point where they lose their life. So I'm really serious about that. I don't play about stuff like that. Leave people alone. Let them be who they're going to be. No one deserves their life to be taken from them because of who they want to be. It's not really that serious at the end of the day. How's it hurting you if a person doesn't want to identify with a gender, if they want to be gender neutral, gender fluid? Why does that bother you? Why does that hurt you? Oh, the world is, we're gonna go to hell. Hey, if prophecy, if you believe in that way of thinking, we're gonna go to hell anyway. There's prophecy, will not go to hell, but the world is gonna go, up in flames anyway. There's gonna be replaced with a new world. If this is what you guys think and believe, if that's what your Bible teaches you, then prophecy is going to be fulfilled. The world's going to go, you know, away anyways. All things are going to become new. World's going to pass away, and how we get there is just how we get there. So who is it? I mean, who is greater than the other to tell someone how they can live and what they can do openly? Like, why does that bother you? Right, our lives are being taken from us just for being black. I mean, shit. Let alone worrying about who a person is sleeping with and what they doing in their private life. None of that matters. Let's connect as human beings. But I do know that that's what the agenda is for the Smith kids. Now my question now becomes, because I'm about to start wrapping this video up. My question now becomes, is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? What they are pushing the envelope for this idea of gender neutral, gender equality, gender, fluidness. Is that a bad thing for them to be the spokespeople for that, for them to be raised for that from the very beginning, that they knew that this is what they were going to be using their kids for? Whoever told them, or was it just the family that said, this is what we want to push these ideas and we're going to use our kids to do it? Do we think that that was a conversation? Or do we think that that's just how Willow and Jaden grew up because that's who they were as people? And then the question becomes, is that necessarily a bad thing? Is it a good thing? What are your thoughts? I'm interested. All right. I'm born both. I know that's right. Um, so, is it a bad thing? Is it a good thing? It all depends on who you're talking to, right? And what their belief system is and how they feel about it. But it could be good, could be, I don't see what the bad is. What's the bad? Think about it. I mean, how's it harming anyone? Oh, you're teaching our kids, throwing it down their throat. Is it going to stop your kid from being a good person in the world if they learn about gender fluidness, gender equality? If they learn about those things, is it going to stop them from being a bad person? You got to ask yourself that question, right? So that's all I got for you guys today. I'm already here, honey. I'm here. I got here fast. So, right. Good people, period. Exactly. I feel like it's a distraction in the community. Okay. All right. So, guys, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you just stay on the lookout for the Will and Jada video. We will be airing that in the next couple of days. That will be aired. And this, we're just leading up, having conversation, leading up to that video. That's the purpose of these little conversations in the morning. I think this was a good topic. People, listen, please don't be disrespectful. Listen, don't be disrespectful of other people's beliefs and their values. You know, is Hollywood a strange place and a weird place? Yeah, it is. It really is. Is it an evil place? Probably. Yep, there's a lot of evil things going on. There's a lot of rituals, a lot of things going on that are satanic. Yeah. Is that a bad thing? Thank you. Thank you. Is that a bad thing? All depends on who you are and how you look at things. It all depends on what your values are and your core values, right? So, you guys have a good day. And Nikki says, I honestly don't care. Do you? I just know I'm a woman and be proud to be one. Okay. Right. I'm a woman, love being a woman. And if that's what gets you through your day and helps you be productive, then by all means, honey, I'm happy. You feel me? So you guys be sure to like this video, share the video. Most importantly, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. Bye, y'all.